Thursday evening to you, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on UpNothLive Unscripted at 6:30. And kind of felt like today we are starting to notice those warmer temperatures. Joe said that we will see a very slow increase in temperatures, and this was the first day I really noticed them because in Traverse City, and I know not everyone saw sunshine, but this morning we did see a little bit of sunshine. And it felt so nice out there, and my dog didn't have to wear his jacket, and he was just absolutely thrilled.
Was Freddie a good behavior today?
He was he was good for the most part. We shouldn't get into that right now.
I think I heard a story earlier or something with Freddie, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But he was just happy to not wear his jacket because he hates his jacket. Because it is, like I said, starting to get a little warmer. You mentioned it's going to continue to get warmer throughout the weekend.
Yeah, a little bit, especially by Sunday. We'll be in the 30s. Okay. I'm going to give our viewers a little hint. Freddie's a great dog.
Yeah.
But a little bad behaving earlier today. But
now I feel like we have to tell them.
No, it's all good. Anyway, 30s for the weekend. We are going to warm up. And next week, and I know the snow piles are so high right now, Maya, we'll get a little bit of maybe a little melting.
It'll be nice.
For a few days next week. So we'll talk more about that and much more in a few minutes.
And maybe if we have time a little later, I'll tell you what my dog Freddie did today. But let's start off with our top story tonight. It is an update from Sheboygan, a story that we have been following all week. So East Elementary School's faculty met to confirm the school will be back in session tomorrow. Now, East Elementary School was closed starting on Tuesday due to a strange odor in classrooms and the detection of higher carbon dioxide levels. But a pretty stark revelation today at this meeting. Both the district and an environmental contractor say the carbon dioxide reader was faulty and that levels inside the building are actually normal. The superintendent, Spencer Bird, says the HVAC inspector did not turn up the odor and that the possibility of an electric fire was ruled out. Superintendent Bird says the building was also swept for carbon monoxide, which is a lot more dangerous just in case because of concerns that were found on social media, but none was found.
If you don't know what it is, that almost makes it worse. Not that we wanted it to be carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. You know, that how do you replicate a smell that's not there anymore? You know, I mean, I think we've done everything that we could do based on, you know, the 1, 2, 3 days removed, but we can never go back in time to Monday morning again.
Now, the lack of a cause for the odor raised further questions at the meeting. Teachers were concerned that if the smell returns, school could be closed indefinitely, but Bird countered that they won't know if they don't try to go back to school. Now, our Daniel Zivian was at that meeting, and provided us with this update. So kind of a very interesting, like you mentioned, revelation today.
Absolutely, Maya. Kind of came out of left field. I knew going into this meeting that we might have a decision on whether or not school would be back in session. It could have been tomorrow. It could have been pushed to Monday. I did not expect to hear that the carbon dioxide levels were actually totally fine and that had nothing to do with the odor. That really just came out of nowhere and kind of threw a wrench into the whole conversation. You know, there was some relief there, but as you pointed out, it really raised further questions and anxieties. You know, there were teachers who were worried about getting headaches of their own. As we reported on earlier this week, there was the teacher in the classroom where the odor was most prevalent did go to the hospital, didn't stay at the hospital, just went there to get checked out because of a headache. Mm-hmm. She was feeling better afterwards. But, you know, now that they know it's not carbon dioxide, there's a bit of anxiety about it. Okay, well, are we still in danger to get sick because of something and we just don't know what it is? There's just so many unknowns here.
So the good news is, again, there is no carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, no high levels of that reported in the school. That is great, but they don't know what this odor is or where it came from.
Yep, and again, ruled out electric fires. One of the maintenance people who had that reader realized that it was a faulty reading himself. At least I believe that's how the story went. But this was double confirmed by Nova. That is the name of the environmental contractor. I believe they're out of Ann Arbor. They came all the way up here. They've done work up here before, and they came all the way up here to, you know, on the double, inspect the whole building. I'm currently sitting in the high school, not East Elementary, obviously. But they went to inspect that whole building, all of the HVAC, all of the systems. They have their own readers. And yeah, they confirmed that it was level. They also found it was hard to hear precisely what this was, which is why I didn't want to hedge my bets or bet too much on including this stuff. But there was also some other data that they were able to pull from a source they hadn't thought of that was another way to confirm that the carbon dioxide levels were actually okay and have been okay. But then there was some concern there was some stuff last year that was relitigated. When the bond proposal was being talked about, there was another team that came and inspected East Elementary that had slightly different readings. And the staff here remembered that, and there was discussion about that. But we can go into that in a moment about some of the really long-term thinking that kind of came up in this meeting.
So at this meeting, it was just school faculty, no parents or community members?
Yes. To be very clear, for anyone who was watching this and thinking, wait a minute, how did I miss that? You didn't miss anything. This was and always was a faculty-only meeting. It was the entire school district's faculty that was invited, and the superintendent, Spencer Bird, pointed out in the meeting that it looks like most of East Elementary's faculty was there, so at least there was plenty of relevant deliberation that could be had. We were invited. Also, our counterparts at the newspaper were invited to be there for this event, just to get a glimpse of what this process was. I think the main reason that they decided to hold this first, actually, I don't need to say I think, he said these reasons. Superintendent Spencer Bird said in the meeting that he didn't want to say anything to the parents without having the faculty on board. He didn't want to just go out there and write a letter and immediately decide school's going to be back in session or anything like that. It was about presenting a united front. And the concern was if the meeting that the teachers could give input at was the same that the public could give input at. Well, let's just say this. We were there for about an hour and a half, and if that were the case, it would have been a lot longer.
Sure. So will the community and will parents have a chance to give their input on these latest discoveries?
Yeah, so there should be an online announcement coming out soon because of the timing of this. I have the great pleasure of saying we technically broke this news. So school will be in session tomorrow, and then tomorrow night at the East Elementary School cafeteria, 5:30 p.m., a community meeting where all of this data will be presented. And again, with the added benefit of the teachers and faculty and superintendent having already discussed amongst themselves, all of the data they've collected and all of that information will be presented in a body, much more detailed. You're going to hear a lot. If you go to this meeting, you'll hear the same stuff that I reported in this report, but there are a heck of a lot more details into how they inspected the school. Michigan Mechanical is a different company that was, I think, specifically doing the HVACs, and what Nova did. All of those details and more, presumably at this community meeting, 5:30 tomorrow.
All right. And so again, at this point, they don't know what this odor is or where it came from. So I guess where did the decision to continue to have school tomorrow, what went into that decision with there still being unknowns out there?
A lot of discussion. Teachers are concerned that, now that we know the smell could theoretically return, what if it does?
Right.
A lot of people in the room seemed fine saying, well, if that's the case, then you got to shut it down, distance learning indefinitely. Like what's currently going on in Sault Ste. Marie for different reasons. So that was definitely discussed. And what Spencer Bird, superintendent, countered with was, well, if that's the case, if the smell were to return, he said he would understand that, but we're not going to know unless we try. We can't just keep even whether it's Friday or Monday, you can't just keep the kids home forever on that sort of assumption, especially since, to be very clear, not only do they not know the cause of the smell hasn't reappeared. No one has been able to replicate it. Like, it just hasn't been detected again. So that's another thing is like, well, yeah, we're worried about this, but at the same time, it hasn't come up again.
Right.
We don't know what to do. So in the absence of other information, what can you do? And there's just the factor of the bond. There's all this context beneath the surface here. East Elementary was just recently awarded, given millions of dollars, voted in by the Sheboygan area school taxpayers. It was, I believe, in this November's election, or maybe it was the summer one, that they're going to renovate the HVAC systems and the ventilation and the exhaust systems. It's an old building. Everyone knows that. And, that context was simmering and was kind of brought to the forefront here. Okay, well, there was sort of talk of like, oh, well, maybe we should have asked for more money and just destroyed the whole thing and built it back up. But no, that would be too difficult. So many layers here.
Well, in about 30 seconds, what else do you think is the most important thing that people should know that we haven't talked about yet regarding this newest update?
I think we've covered all the bases here.
Okay.
I think the most important thing for parents to know, there's a lot of concern on social media. Actually, carbon monoxide. That's what we haven't mentioned here.
Yeah.
This came up a lot on social media, but we were told in this meeting there are only 2 rooms in the entire building. There could be carbon monoxide, the boiler room and the kitchen, but they swept the entire school for carbon monoxide, and there has never been any problem, and there isn't any problem with it. It seems to have genuinely just been a confusion of the different elements or different compounds, rather, on social media.
And that is great news because, as we mentioned, carbon monoxide can be a lot more dangerous than carbon dioxide.
Absolutely.
All right, Danny, thanks so much for joining us and providing us with more information on that update. Again, there is a meeting for parents and community members tomorrow at the school. We have more information on our website, UpNothLive.com. But our next story takes us to Sault Ste. Marie, where the fire department there is urging you to check your smoke detectors. Now, this comes after a family lost their home due to a fire. You are looking at the remains of a Sault Ste. Marie house that caught fire yesterday morning. Fire crews say when they arrived, the house was completely engulfed in flames. Now, luckily, all 6 people inside were able to get out of the house safely, and we're not hearing of any reports of injury. So that is great news. However, the fire department said that the home did not have functioning smoke detectors.
They had actually taken them down because they were in the process of painting and doing some remodeling. And that's common. A lot of people do that. They don't think about that because, most people, the only time they hear a smoke alarm going off is either they burnt their toast or dinner, and they don't actually see the benefits that they provide to people in a fire situation. So unfortunately, they didn't have them up.
And Chief Miller says smoke detectors need to be replaced every 10 years. Anyone in need of smoke detectors can reach out to your local fire department. Let's skip our question of the day for now. We'll come back to, we'll pull it up right now really quick, where I know we're kind of running out of time. But how often do you check the smoke alarms in your home? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can also go to our website where you can vote, and we will look at that a little later on in the show. But I have one story that I really want to share with you before we take a first break. It is about a donkey who is potentially going through heartbreak after losing its partner. And today our Mark Schlett went and met Miles the donkey and Miles' owner to find out what Miles needs to get back on the right track.
He definitely needs a partner because donkeys will die of heartbreak.
If you've never met Miles, the mini donkey, before, he may not seem that out of sorts. But the truth is, even his favorite carrots can't seem to help him shake his funk.
It sounds weird that I say he's kind of seems depressed, but that's like actually a thing with donkeys.
It's a stark contrast for Miles, who usually craves the spotlight and adores the attention.
He's kind of, a celebrity on my Facebook, at least, because I like to take pictures of him in outfits for the different holidays. And also, people like to come visit him. So, yeah, he's a super friendly donkey. He likes carrots and apples, and he's a good guy.
A good guy who recently went through a pretty devastating donkey loss.
Miles had a friend named Lyle, a lifelong partner friend.
For 5 years, Miles and Lyle were inseparable. They relied on each other because, well, that's what donkeys do.
Not everybody likes company, but donkeys definitely do.
Then, last week, Miles inexplicably lost Lyle.
Lyle's had, we don't really know if he had a heart attack or there's something like with their stomachs, and so he's no longer with us.
And that brings us to Miles today. Alone, eating his feelings, and in need of a new buddy.
Otherwise, he'll just sit in the barn, and that's not good for anybody. So
Fina got searching.
I posted on Facebook if anyone in Leelanau County could help me find a partner for Miles.
I'm not sure if there are donkey dating sites, but if there were, well, Miles had a few swipe rights.
I have a lady south of Empire that has 7 rescue donkeys, and she contacted me through Facebook, and we're going to go meet. Her name's Millie.
If all goes well and Millie's a match, Miles' lonely days may be numbered.
He can't wait to get a girlfriend, but there'll be no making donkeys because he's fixed.
They may have found Miles a new running mate, but still need to find one more thing to make the match complete.
We don't have a horse trailer, so we need to find one, and everyone's horse trailer that I know of is buried in a field underneath 4 feet of snow. So if anyone could help with that, that would be amazing. So as soon as possible, if we can get Millie here to spend quality winter time with Miles, that'd be great.
No.
More information on our website, UpNothLive.com. Let's take a quick break. Joe will have more on your forecast coming up next.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix. Joe, what's the forecast looking like for our Friday?
Not bad. Actually, a quiet day. So if you remember on Monday, we started the week was in the single digits and snow, and it'll be in the 20s, close to 30 in some spots tomorrow. So
nice.
A little bit different and dry weather too. This is over Mackinac City, right downtown. Not too busy right now. It will be buzzing soon, I imagine, in a few months. Looking out over the fort there's the Straits in the background and completely iced over at 100% coverage through the Straits right now on the ice. It's pretty thick there. Here's what's going on. We did have a little bit of snow. In fact, Ludington last night picked up 5 inches of accumulation. There's a look at radar. Currently, Suttons Bay had 3 inches. Pleasanton Township, that's in Manistee County, picking up about 4 inches of snowfall. Now, I know the sun has set, but earlier, east of I-75, we did have a little bit of sunshine with clouds closer to the Lake Michigan shoreline. But, you know, we're talking about the weekend. It looks really quiet coming up here. We'll kind of run through this. There's tonight some clouds. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies, but it's going to be dry. And again, it'll be the warmest day of the week so far for us as we head into our Friday. Saturday, kind of cloudy. Now, again, if you have travel Saturday, we'll stop this around noon, 1 o'clock. No issues downstate. The UP, our region, looks good. Kind of cloudy, though. And then Sunday, cloudy skies, too. There we are on Sunday. So, again, if you look at the weekend, here's a little more specific look at that. Saturday, 25 to 30, cloudy and quiet. And then Sunday, we're looking at a little bit of a warmer day, maybe a little melting, too, 32 to 37 on Sunday. Looking at to next week, we're going to jump ahead here. So Sunday night, right there, early Monday, we could start the week off very early with a little snow. Monday morning, we have a little clipper coming in, but it will be warm enough in the afternoon where this will start to mix with and switch over to rain. So that's just pointing that out. That would be late Sunday night, early Monday, and then another little clipper comes in right there on Wednesday, possibly a wintry mix then too. Here's our extended forecast. Well, clouds through the weekend. There's the 2 days where we could see a little wintry mix, Monday and Wednesday. Also, look at those temperatures. We stay in the 30s through that Sunday through Wednesday stretch. So I do think a little bit of melting as we get into early next week.
I think we could definitely use that.
Yeah, for sure. The snowbanks are pretty high.
They are, for sure. All right, thanks so much, Joe. We're going to take another quick break, but we will bring in our sports director, Harrison Beebe, and see what he is up to tonight in just a few minutes. Busy night for Harrison. He's already out on the road heading to a game tonight, but he so kindly is pulling over to chat with us. Hey, Harrison.
Yeah, I see Mark do it all the time, and I'm like, man, I miss the good old days of chatting in the car
Bring it
on
back.
the video phone. But yeah, big one in the Big North Conference. So this is the final week for boys basketball's regular season. Postseason games begin next week, which has me really pumped. We got some real stakes coming next week, but there's some real stakes tonight too. Cadillac playing for its high in the Big North Conference at least. They are tied with TC West in the standings. The Vikings host TC Central tonight, so with a win there, they ensure at least a share of the conference. West plays at Petoskey, and then they host Gaylord on Saturday. So there's still some drama to unfold there. West is a pretty good team, but Cadillac and West split the regular season. So it's looking like a share is going to happen, but Central could throw that off for Cadillac tonight. And if West stumbles in one of these final two, then there's still some drama in that conference up for grabs.
I love the drama. Any other games you're heading to tonight?
I'm just doing that one tonight, but can we just talk about the resurgence in national appreciation that's come about with this Four Nations hockey tournament?
Sure.
I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a cool little, divergence from the NHL All-Star break to bring the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland together for this round-robin tournament. But here we are going to the finals, USA and Canada. Did you watch the game on Saturday in the pool play?
I did not. No.
Did you hear about how there were 3 fights that broke out in 2 minutes?
I did hear about that, thanks to Katie Nolan's podcast, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just showed how much that game meant, on a physical level. But then the Americans won in Canada. That was the pool play game. Tonight is the finals in Boston. It's got to be the most intriguing USA hockey matchup we've had since the 2010 gold medal game in the Olympics. So a lot of eyes are on this one just for an exhibition game. It seems pretty exciting.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see some highlights of that game tonight at 11, along with your basketball highlights. Harrison, thanks so much for joining us. Get back on the road to your game. We're going to take a quick break, but let's check in with our live results for our question of the day next.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
How often do you check the smoke alarms in your home? I appreciate the honesty. 34% voted not as often as I should. 35 every year, 24 every 6 months, only 6% every month. And actually, according to the National Fire Protection Association, you should test them every month. So I think a lot of us could be better about that. But hey, I voted not as often as I should, so I'm guilty of that as well. Again, appreciate the honesty. Thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted tonight. I hope you are all having a wonderful evening. We'll see you at 11.